what we want to do is just have some testimonies of what God has been doing in your life, maybe what he's been doing in your M5 group, um, or just what you've been learning as a leader. And maybe I might start off with Richard, is because I want to put you on the spot. I was speaking at his home church at Emerge Church in Sylvan Lake, and we did a family blessing event. And I had Richard share a testimony, which he had actually shared a little bit on here for Christmas blessing. But Richard, give us a little feedback of what you observed as you looked at the weekend as we talked about the power of a parent's blessing and how to write a blessing. What did you see happen with the families that were involved?
Well, it was first off just awesome to see so many parents with so many young kids that were a part of it. I think there must have been 25, 30 kids that were a part of it, all from probably 2 up to 11, 12 years of age. And just awesome. And then when I see the younger families come in and get a part of this, and I just jumped on board with this in the last couple of months about doing the blessings. And I shared a little testimony of my youngest grandson is just turned 1 year of age, and my daughter blessed me by using my middle name in his name, Marshall William. And so I was able to share what I did for him at Christmas time, and it was pretty amazing. I also have to say that I invited a friend from another church that I've been sharing with him about what's been going on with our M5 group, and he was so interested. And when I shared with him the concept of the blessing, he grabbed hold of it and phoned his son who was in YWAM program, and he said it was very, very powerful of how they exchanged a blessing. He blessed his son, and his son turned around and blessed his dad. He said he was just in tears about. Said, Richard, this is incredible stuff. And so he walked away from Saturday's meeting very, very excited about what he's going to now put in place with his own family.
That's good. That's awesome. Todd, what's been going on in your M5 group? Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been doing.
Well, it's just we're learning a lot about each other, that's for sure. And we're doing a blessing generation this weekend, and I've got 2 of the guys coming to participate. And the 3 other men in the group have already taken some of the courses as well. So we're all going to be on the same page when it comes to who needs ministry this morning. And having that healing the hurting heart was phenomenal. Having those 6 weeks, it was amazing. Not only did it get us to where we were, but we've surpassed our capabilities of ministry now of where we were before.
Right. It's good. It's good.
And I've never actually ever been in a leadership role. I'm usually picking up the rear, making sure everyone's okay. Because I have kind of a servant's heart, but for me to be a leader, it's been quite awkward, but it's been working. Because it's just a matter of pulling guys together and seeing what happens. And sometimes it's like herding cats, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're definitely a servant leader, Todd, and we appreciate that. And that's just one style of many styles of leadership, and I think Jesus modeled that one the best. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else have a testimony to share, something that has been going on in your M5 group, or something that you've been learning and putting into practice?
I've got a little something I could share. I think I've mentioned before, I have a couple of guys here locally in our community that I had committed to. I got in touch with each of them and met with them and individually and just said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm dedicating time each week to pray for you as a man and as a leader in your home. And I don't need you to tell me anything about what's going on, but if you do have specific things you need prayer for, please feel free to let me know in confidence. Happy to add it, but I will be praying for you. And they responded very well. They initially were kind of shocked because they're not really like, you know, I don't have really strong, I don't see them in church all the time. I don't, you know, they're just not that, they're not, you know, really in relationship with me that way. But one of the fellas has having some challenges with his family, with his sons, and they're just growing up, and he's having certain things, and I had an opportunity to talk to him about the important part about blessing, because he was praying for his family. He was loving his sons, but there's an opportunity there to speak destiny and to bless and to sort of lead with your heart and your words, lead your children that way. And it was just a fascinating conversation. It actually left me, I meant to say to you, Neil, I need some copies of your book. I really do. Like, so I think we need to get some of these out, like extra copies in everyone's hands, because I really see a need for that tool to be shared. I mean, obviously we'll all, you know, love to get them here on the meetings as well, but really, it's just a great thing to introduce to people, because the suggestion that you can bless, you can look your son in the eyes and bless them and bless their destiny and their identity and who they are. And, you know, it's just, it was really, monumental truth to him, you know.
Well,
So.
I was in Emerge Church last weekend, but 2 weekends ago, I was in Arborg, Manitoba, where we did a family blessing event as well. And on the first night, I spoke on the power of a father's blessing. And we had about probably 50 young adults, youth and young adults in the one part of the church, plus the parents, and then we had the kids. So it was probably about 200 people in the building. But as I just asked, how many here have ever been blessed by a father? After I had described what blessing was, very few actually put up their hands. And I said, if you would like to receive the blessing of a father tonight, I'm going to ask you to stand all over this place. And every person in the building just stood, lifted their hands up, and just received a blessing from the Father. Because what we felt is that in order to impart the blessing often into your children and grandchildren, there has to be that encounter where you've experienced that heart of the Father. And afterwards, I was just kind of, you know, talking with different groups of, there was some teenage young men that I kind of went over and talked with, and they said, man, that was so powerful. And I said, that's what God is like. And then I went over and talked with some young adults, and one had actually just got back from the School of Ministry at the Toronto Airport Church, and he kind of had some theological questions about, you know, the blessing and about, you know, these things. And after we explained it to him, he was all in, and parents, of course, were all in as we trained and equipped them to bless their kids. And what I saw both events on the Saturday afternoon was as parents looked their sons and daughters in the eyes, you know, literally teenage sons weeping, daughters just hugging their dads, you know, just at a different level than just saying, "Hey, I love you." So it was pretty powerful just to watch that happen. So just, you know, seeing that blessing happen is always a good thing. Any other testimonies before we kind of move on today? Something that God's been speaking to you about?
Yeah, I'll share something. So we have a group of guys here that I meet with in PEI, as well as I meet with Neil and a few of the guys that are on the screen, and we have that Mighty Man group that meets regularly. I think I may have shared this, and you may have heard the fact that when we got a group together locally. Anyways, so and it's been going really well. We get together weekly, just, you know, a little bit of a coffee and snack, or, you know, kind of like a brunch, continental type breakfast or whatever. And we basically, you know, just to say, we keep it quite simple, you know, get everybody to share, and then as we do, we share and we pray for each other. And when came to pray for me, it's interesting because it's the challenge for me has been personally. Some of you may have, I've been in some groups with you guys, like Neil particularly would know. One of the challenges I have in my life, and as I shared it's interesting that one of the guys in the group is the one who will be helping me with it. So it's kind of really how it came around. So let me tell you what the challenge is. My challenge is bookkeeping, personal budget, it's just, now maybe it's not a big deal to you guys, but I've just taken the finance seminar that, Craig Hale offers through Family Foundations probably 3 times. And I've led it a couple of times, like taken it. And every time we get down to that area of doing personal budget and, bookkeeping, I just said, I just not my thing. It just, I would run from it. So interestingly, the conviction of the Lord hit me really hard about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago when I did, because I am also Family Foundation's coordinator here. So we did a seminar here at our church, and I'm listening and I'm convicted. Like it was just a heaviness. And as I'm processing it with God, which I would often process as a kind of a journal situation where I'm talking with God and I let God talk to me and I write out what he says. It's a process that I do. Anyways, in regard to this, I said, God, this is hard. I don't, we're having this comment. And he gave me lots of encouraging words. And as I'm praying, he said, son, if you get this right in your life, he's talking to me, then your concern for your kids, and I have a son 36 and a daughter 38. He says the concern you have for their way they manage things in this regard, you're going to see a change. And the biggest thing was so he said, this is a curse. I'm just going to say it as it is, because I didn't have a good example in my life. So, it's a generational curse. So I've had to confess and repent of my attitude and deal with my stuff. But it's amazing that one of the guys in the group offered to help me. He did a little bit over time, but now we're committed. We met for 2 hour on the phone yesterday and 2 hours in person today. And he's willing to, say, look, I'm willing to put my time and effort. And he does this stuff. This is food for him. I'm saying, oh my dear, this is like, get away from me, kind of. But anyhow, just thought I'd give you that testimony, and just, God's got me, and he's provided through our men's group to have somebody, to really be there as a partner and a buddy.